we're giving stuff away. Stalker 2 has an awesome documentary. There might be some portable gaming systems coming out soon, and you can get a PS5 Pro for like $300. What's up, everybody, and welcome to Just Because Gaming. My name is Michael.
And I'm Ray.
Thank you for joining us. One of the things that we wanted to mention real quick is to give a quick thank you for all the new subscribers, because we recently got a huge boost from our last video. So we just wanted to say welcome to everybody and thank you for subscribing. And because we hit that 50 threshold, we're going to be sticking to what we were talking about before in our videos about how when we get to the 50 subscriber threshold, we'll start doing giveaways. So for our first giveaway, we're actually partnering with Pirate Gold Poker. And if you've played a lot of these games like Red Dead and Red Dead 1 and Red Dead 2, a lot of the times there'll be side little things you can do, Assassin's Creed, Grand Theft Auto, where you can play card games and especially poker. So Ray and I have been playing a little bit of poker ourselves, and even though it's not video game, it's still gaming. And since we've partnered with them, one of the things that they wanted us to give away was these Pirate Gold cards. So that's what we'll be giving away to. We'll just be looking at whoever's subscribed, pick someone randomly with a random number generator, and we'll notify you. I'll reach out and we'll notify you if you're the winner, and we'll announce that at our next video. But with that being said, let's just jump into it.
First of all, again, thank everybody for watching us, and it's most views we've ever had and new subscribers. So anybody else who's new and has found their way to us, please like us, subscribe to us. All the things you usually do with these videos that helps us build our brand, help us build our community, and keep leaving those comments. Good, bad, whatever it is, we like to hear other opinions. Today, what we're going to talk about, or start with talking about, is I actually heard about this listening to another podcast. I was listening to IGN's Podcast Unlocked, and they mentioned this documentary, so I thought I'd go and check it out for myself. It's on YouTube, on the Xbox channel. They have a documentary called Wargame, The Making of Stalker 2. And it starts out, like most gaming documentaries where, they're making the game and the things they're going through to make the game. But, of course, this game is made in Ukraine. And, of course, we know what's been going on in Ukraine if you've been paying any attention to the news at all. And then, as it goes into the making of it and then goes into what they're having to deal with to still make this game, but also fight a war at the same time. And it's a very well done documentary. It's worth checking out if you haven't already. So, yeah, it's fairly new out there. And check it out. That's history happening right now, so it's kind of interesting. And the fact that they're able to get this game, hopefully still coming out on November 20th. That's the date that they've pushed it back to so far. But most of the things I've heard of people talking about it because they were at Gamescom, and they mentioned that in the documentary as well, is that the game's looking pretty good, needs a little smoothing out here and there. But that's typical with a game preview. It's going to come out way better than what the original preview is going to show. So I'm really looking forward to it myself.
Yeah, as long as they don't take the whole cyberpunk route and be like, yeah, we just need to polish everything up, and it takes like 3 years. And they still don't have it all figured out.
I got to admit, cyberpunk is much more polished now. Now is the time to play it. It's way better than what it started out as. And it wasn't that bad, really. I mean, there's some glitching and stuff, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't unplayable, at least not on my Xbox Series X.
Dude, I heard so many people that were having issues with it where it like crashed their saves and stuff. So yeah, if any of y'all have horror stories for Cyberpunk 2077, leave them in the comments. I love to hear that stuff. But yeah, heard plenty of game breaking saves, getting corrupted, stuff like that.
Oh yeah, so I had that happen to me. I'm playing along. I'm probably 2/3 of the way through the game, and it crashed, and I could not load the game. I could not do anything. Basically, what I had to do is go back in, delete it all, including the local saves. And then you could download your saves from the cloud, and they weren't corrupted because the last one up there wasn't, last save you had wouldn't be corrupted on the cloud, and that's what got it running up again.
So I love how you're like, oh, the glitches weren't that bad, except for the fact I had to delete the saves and re-download the game. Lost all this progress.
Well, I didn't lose any progress though. Is the thing. That's the good thing. I was afraid I had, but thank you, Internet and YouTube, for showing me how to fix that problem. The next thing we're going to discuss, which is all over and has been for a while all over the internet and on YouTube and everywhere else, is the rumors and things that are going around for what kind of portable systems are coming out. We all know the Nintendo Switch 2 is coming out. That had been announced a while ago. Release date hasn't really been set yet, but everybody's predicting around March or April of 2025. Maybe an expected price tag of around $499. Could be a little less, but that's kind of what they're looking at. I imagine the first one will come out with probably the LCD screen, and then they'll come out with an OLED version later on, just like they did this last time. But it kind of all remains to be seen what kind of games they're going to release, how much they'll have coming out with the new system. Rumors say that it'll probably be backwards compatible, because that's a big thing amongst all the consoles now. So you would assume they're going to follow suit with that. I'm thinking maybe a little bit bigger screen than it had before, but maybe not. I don't know, because it's kind of a comfortable size as it is now.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, when for us, me and Ray are in Florida, and for me and my family, we evacuated to a relative in Alabama, and we brought our Nintendo Switch, and we were just playing it and hanging out and having a good time. And yeah, I mean, that screen size was perfect. The little controllers, when we were playing a lot of those little Mario games, you just need one of the little controllers. You don't need both for the left and the right. So yeah, we were playing like Mario Kart and also Mario 3D World, which technically I think that's a really old game from, I think, a Wii or something, or 3DS or something like that. But we were playing that and it was super fun. So I think from what I was reading, when it comes to the Nintendo Switch 2, if that's what they're going to call it, from what I remember reading about that, they were saying that I want to say it's just going to come with an OLED screen. That's just like the route they're going nowadays.
At that price point, I think it should have an OLED screen, but you never know with Nintendo what they're going to do. They kind of tend to surprise you. And I haven't heard any rumors one way or the other, so.
Yeah, it's kind of funny when you think about it. Nintendo is the one with all the innovation. They come out with all these original ideas, for better or worse, and they don't worry too much about the technology side of it. They're just thinking about what's different and what they can do differently. Whereas PlayStation, on the other hand, they're not worried about doing things differently. They have found a design that they like and they beat it into the ground. Their controllers haven't really changed much since like the PS1. They're kind of the same, except that now they have a little touchpad at the top. But other than
I
that,
think the hand grips are a little bit better than what they used to be.
they're a little longer for the PS5, but they're kind of the same thing. Like a lot of the times, if you get a like a wireless controller for PS1, 2, 3, and you like mix them all up, you might not be able to tell the difference. Speaking of which, for the PS5, they're actually making a PS5 Pro that is an anniversary edition, which is even more expensive. I know we were
yeah, it's
kind
like
of like
$1,000.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
either $899 or $999. I'm pretty sure it's
I think it was $999 because I've
Yeah.
been hearing $1,000 for it.
Yeah, and I saw people on Facebook that are like, oh yeah, and they're posting their receipts with some of the information redacted, and they're like, oh, I can't wait to get the anniversary edition, and I get it because I saw it and it looks
My
sick.
understanding is the pre-orders have sold out too. So
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't even looked at it, so because I knew it was going to be gone before I could even consider it.
And one of the things is, there was a lot of people mentioning in our last video that the PS5 Pro is, in its name, for the more pro gamer, and I get that. But yeah, that price tag though, it's a hard pill to swallow. And with the anniversary edition being an extra $200 just for a fancy paint job,
Is that all it is? It doesn't come with like an extra controller or a game or anything?
Not that I'm aware of. Please, for everyone watching, if I'm missing something, please let us know in the comments. But as far as I know, it's the same console as a PS5 Pro. It's just skinned, and the console skinned, and the one controller is skinned. I want to say it's just the one controller and the console, and it just has a different cover. I
heard it was the Edge controller though, which is I guess their version of the Elite controller that Xbox has.
I do not.
That makes it a lot better deal because that's a more expensive controller by far.
I do not know, because I mean, yeah, the PS5 Edge controller is pretty much the same thing as the Elite. Like, it has the paddles on the back and everything. So I mean, and the configurable buttons. So yeah, those typically go for about $200. So if that's the case, and I may not be 100% sure on that, again, anyone, let us know if it is the Elite controller. I'd love to know. Not that I can get it because it's sold out, and I don't think they're going to be making any more of them.
I'm sure there's a scalper out there that'll let you have one for a good $3-4 grand, right? Somebody got it like that,
Yeah. Anyways, for the Nintendo Switch 2, they're the ones that focus on all the innovation, whereas PlayStation seems to focus on all the hardware and power under the hood. So with the Nintendo Switch, I'm hoping there will be some better hardware, but I'm just expecting kind of something new. Like, okay, we've seen the Switch with the removable controllers. It's like, there's part of me that's like, okay, what else? Like, what can you do now? Like, I'm wondering if it's going to be
sure it's going to have a boost, at least in the processing power and graphical power and all that. Because I have heard rumors that, Microsoft kind of got a look at the architecture or whatever hardware, since they have Activision now. It's one of the reasons they were confident that they could release Call of Duty on the next generation of Switch. So it gives you an idea that it's probably got a little more power to it if it can run these bigger games. After that, you've got the rumors about an Xbox portable. I think they will probably produce such a thing. I mean, Phil Spencer all but said that he really wants one of these since he's kind of in charge of this kind of stuff. I'm thinking there might be a lean towards that.
Honestly, I would love it if Xbox made a portable console and if PlayStation came back into the thing. I've seen so many articles saying that PlayStation is going to make another, whatever you want to call it, PSP2 or PS Vita 2 or whatever kind of naming convention they want to do. Because I had both the PSP and the PS Vita, and I love those things. I love handheld consoles. I had the Game Boy. I even had the Sega Game Gear, and that was like way ahead of its time. That was practically a Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, I'm older than you. The first handheld I ever had was it was made by Atari. I can't remember the exact name of it, and it took these little card type cartridges, and it was not great.
I was expecting you to be like, yeah, the first handheld console I had was the Abacus, and we would just slide the beads over.
No, not that old.
But yeah, I definitely want those new consoles, like the new handhelds, because especially the one thing that I think that would make an Xbox handheld console successful and a PlayStation handheld console successful is two things. One, let it be dockable, kind of like how the Nintendo Switch is dockable. So you can remove it and play it on the go, and then you can also dock it in a dock and play it on the TV. That would be awesome. The other thing,
that's something I would definitely want in there too.
Yeah, the other thing would be having the games playable on that as well as like a main console. Kind of like how if you have a Xbox Series S, and you buy a game, you can also play it on an Xbox Series X. So if they have it where you could, let's say they come out with a handheld console this year, I would want I would want my games to be playable on the Xbox Series X, the S, and I'm still voting for Xbox Series M because I just think that sounds awesome. But yeah, the S, the X, and the M, if like you could get a game and play it on any of those devices, then that would be awesome because you'd be able to go from your Series X playing a game on that and then like turn it off, and then let's say you're gonna go on a trip with some friends or whatever, and it's late at night, you can take out your Series M or whatever and continue your game that you were playing on your Series X because it'd be cloud saved games. And same thing for the PlayStation, that you could play games on a PS5 or PS5 Pro and then continue the game and the save from the PS Vita 2 or PSP 2 or whatever. And I would want to see that because in previous generations with PlayStation, you had to have separate games. So if you got a game on the PS3,
Yeah, I think it was the 3.
Yeah, I think the PS Vita was during PS3 or PS4. I'm not sure. But if you got a game for that, you couldn't play it on your PS Vita. There was like a remote play thing, but the internet
there was a proprietary disc type thing that went into the UMD disc that went into that PlayStation.
Yeah, and it was the same thing with PSP. Now, eventually, what PlayStation did do is they ported all their portable games to PlayStation. So there were games that I bought with the PlayStation, the PSP. It was Metal Gear Acid. I didn't have to re-buy the game because I want to say that was part of PlayStation Plus. So I was able to just download it. And I was able to, if I'm not mistaken, I think I was able to continue on from my save because I did save all my saves on the cloud. So I think I was able to pick up from that. This was a while ago. This is like a couple years ago. But yeah, there are PS Vita games that are playable through PS Plus or PlayStation Plus or whatever it's called. And I'm kind of hoping for that same thing. Like if you buy a game, like let's say you buy Red Dead 3 for PlayStation, that you can play it on the PS5 and the PlayStation Portable or whatever it's going to be called. That would be awesome.
Yeah, being as we're now pretty much in a digital age, I think we can almost bet on that being the case. I mean, the rumors are that maybe the Xbox Portable would come out around 2026 sometime, probably close to Christmas, that area, November, something like that. If we're lucky, could be longer than that. I think it'll likely be dockable. I think, just like the Switch, it's supposed to be rumored to have an SSD. I would imagine at least 1 terabyte because you're supposed to be able to download your games to it. It'll be a Game Pass playable machine. You'll be able to stream games to it just like you would on your phone. I mean, you can do these things on your phone. You just can't necessarily download a Game Pass game to your phone, I don't believe, in any way that I've seen.
Yeah.
But that way you'll have your game on there. So say you don't have internet where you're at that moment, you can still play your game. and
Exactly.
that's a good thing on a portable.
Yeah, I definitely don't want them to be streaming mobile devices. I want them to be downloadable game mobile devices.
I want to be able to do both. It
I
should be
don't
able to do both.
I don't like streaming. It's just there's so many times where my latency gets messed up and my bandwidth gets messed up, and I go from being able to play games at 4K to like being able to play games at like VHS quality, and it looks terrible.
I don't know. I guess I've had better luck with it or whatnot. I mean, even doing it over the phone service, I was playing on my phone one time, and it didn't play bad at all. I mean, there's a little latency, but it wasn't so bad that I couldn't play. Granted, I definitely prefer having it locally downloaded to my hard drive, but I like having the option, and it's not that big a deal to add that option in there. So I imagine it'll have both. I imagine that you'll be looking at about a $499 price tag on that. With the price of gaming systems going up like we're now going to, just like the price of everything is going up. You can't buy an automobile now for what you could 5 years ago. I mean, I know I've looked.
Okay,
So,
Grandpa, back in my day,
5 years ago is not that far back, dude.
back in my day, you could buy a burger for a nickel.
That sounds great. Let's go back there.
Yeah, I mean, do you want some cigarettes with your burger?
Now, the other thing I'm thinking, though, if they have an Xbox Portable and it's dockable, do they need a Series S anymore? Or will that kind of replace the Series S? Or will they still have 3 separate consoles, like a Portable, an S, and then your Series X, which is for your hardcore gamer, which will probably run around $800?
I can don't say stuff like that.
I'm going to say it because that's what I believe is going to happen.
No.
I can wish that. I'm hoping that they go, hey, you know what? If PlayStation comes out with one around $800, let's make ours say 7 or 6.
Well, because that's the thing. That's what PlayStation 3 did back in like what 2006 or 2007. PlayStation
when the one
3
came out.
Yeah, PlayStation 3 came out, and I think it was like $600, and the Xbox 360 came out at $300, and PlayStation 3 was dead in the water for quite a while, and Xbox 360 like took over. Like I never had an Xbox till that was the case, till I couldn't afford a PS3, and I got an Xbox 360, and I was like, oh, this is just as awesome for half the price. And then I remember every time I would turn on the TV, I swear there was another PlayStation commercial with that guy, Kevin something or other, and he was always so cringy and so cheesy, but he was like the representative for the commercials for PlayStation, and like the price kept dropping every couple months until eventually I think the lowest they got was like $349 or something like that. And there were commercials where they were joking about it. They were like, "Oh, you heard that the price was $349. Where did you see that? That's weird." And like there were signs everywhere saying it's $349, $349. He's like, "I've never heard of that. I can't confirm or deny that." But there's signs everywhere about it. And
Right.
yeah, that's essentially what happened. PlayStation 3 had to cut their prices over and over and over to be competitive. And honestly, I kind of hope that happens again. I hope that PlayStation has put their foot in their mouth, and they're going to try to release the PlayStation 6 for $700, and Xbox will release their next console, the Xbox Series One XS, for $400, and then
Watch. It probably won't be any of those Series S or X, or all that'll be scrapped, and they'll come up with a whole new name, a whole new number, a whole new everything. It won't make any sense to us.
I mean, it can't get much more confusing. I mean, they
Let's
went
go
from
back to Scorpio. We'll call it that.
Hey, that'd work. I mean, they went from Xbox / Duke to Xbox 360 to Xbox One to Xbox One X to Xbox One Series X. It's so weird. It's so confusing.
You never had that original Xbox console, did you?
No.
Oh
No,
man, that thing was such a brick. That it was huge. It was heavy. It was hard
so
to transport.
It was so ugly.
It wasn't so ugly for the time, but it was a little rough.
But yeah, no. Earlier on, I was firmly on the PlayStation bandwagon, and then once I got a 360, I was on Team Xbox. But then once PlayStation 3 started dropping in prices, I was like, why not get another console? So I've had both ever since Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. What I want to get on is the PC gaming bandwagon, and I'm kind of gonna see if I can play both console specific games on PC, because I know that for Xbox, the majority of their games is also playable on PC. I don't think that's the case for PlayStation. I feel like for PlayStation, they kind of keep some of their stuff close to the vest. It's only recently that the new God of War game, the most recent God of War game, got onto PC, because for a long time it was only on PlayStation. So I might just end up being a PC gamer and joining that.
Or you could just get you a Steam Deck, and then it's basically a handheld PC.
It just
Everything you
depends.
can play on PC, you can play on that. So
Yes and
Pretty
no.
much.
Yes and no. I mean, there's a lot of games that aren't on Steam that are
That's true.
specific to like EA or Ubisoft or whatever. So,
Well, rumor is that Ubisoft is going to start putting theirs on Steam. I know they've resisted it for quite a while, but they kind of need to, because I know that they're at least talking about putting Star Wars Outlaws on there, because it did not do that well regularly on consoles or through their marketplace that they have.
but speaking of the PlayStation 5 and the PlayStation 5 Pro and all that, one of the things that we wanted to mention is, we were looking a lot at the price of the PlayStation 5 Pro. And one of the things that we wanted to share is the trick for like how we get consoles for cheap. It's not that we have any sort of connections or anything. I wish that was the case. No. So what Ray and I will typically do is when a new console's coming out, we a lot of the times will sell our current console and just be without a gaming console for a little bit. And that's basically the best way to go about getting that PlayStation 5 Pro. I've thought about doing that, but I just honestly, it's just a moral issue for me. I don't want to support a $700 price tag, and I don't really see a major difference graphically. I don't see the need for it. If there were games that only played on the PlayStation 5 Pro, fine, I would do that. But I can't justify the extra price. But if you have a PS5 and you want the PS5 Pro, and you can find a way to get it, one of the easiest things to do is sell your PS5. And I know everyone's probably like clutching their chest, like sell my baby. but yeah, the easiest way to do that is to go on Facebook Marketplace. You can list the console. Yeah, it's going to be a used console, but the consoles are just barely available still. I mean, yeah, you can kind of see them in like Target and Walmart on occasion, but they're still hard to come by. So, considering that a Xbox or a PlayStation still retails for I think like $500, and disc the disc-less version of the PlayStation goes for, I want to say, $450. If you just list it on Facebook Marketplace and just knock off like 50 or $75, there will be people that will jump all over that PlayStation 5. So you'll get that money back, and then you can put that towards the PlayStation 5 Pro, and all you're really coming up with out of pocket is like $300. Let's say you have the discless version of the PlayStation 5 that goes for $450. You could list it for like $390, and mention that that's 40, or you could mention that that's like $60 off the retail price, and there will be people that jump all over that. Hell, if you throw in an extra controller, yeah, even makes it a better value. Just make sure that you format the console, do a system restore, and so that it's like a brand new console, because you don't want someone having access to all your stuff. And you sell that console, so you'd get like $400 ish off the digital version of the console, and with that $400, just pay an extra $300. Boom, you've got yourself the PlayStation 5 Pro, and it only cost you $300 out of pocket. The other $400 it's like a return. So I mean, that's a brilliant way to go about it. I've done that in the past. I'm going to
Yeah,
do that
I've
when
done
they
it
come
too.
out. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Ray and I will be doing that when they come out with the next generation of Xbox and PlayStation. When they come out with the PS6, if it comes out, say, in October, I'm going to be listing my PS5 for like $100 less than retail, and I'll sell it maybe like in August or September to get the most, because once that other console comes out, usually the prices drop for the previous generation. So I would still sell it, while that console is the only one on the market. So definitely, if you're going to do that same method when the next generation comes out, make sure you sell your console like a month or so before the next gen console comes out, because by that time, no one's going to want a PS5, because everyone's going to want a PS6. And same thing with Xbox. So
Yep.
if you're really craving that PS5 Pro goodness and you want that 8K resolution and 400 refresh rate, then just it's not going to cost you much. But if you're willing to sacrifice a PS5 that you probably have, I mean, if you're willing to get a PS5 Pro, chances are you already have a PS5. So if you flip that thing on Facebook Marketplace, yeah, that'll be a good chunk in your pocket. That'll make that PS5 Pro not that painful on the wallet. But yeah, it's a great way to get the next gen consoles for cheap, or mid gen refreshes for cheap. Just sell your previous console. Do not go to GameStop, no matter what kind of pro rewards they got going on, because unless they're willing to give like an ungodly amount of money, it's not worth it. You can usually get more doing private selling, and with Facebook Marketplace, that's the one I advocate for the most, because you can usually see people's profiles and you're least likely to get scammed. It's still possible, but you're least likely to get scammed because people are putting their actual profiles with that. So anytime I sell something, people can see aside from my seller account, people can actually see my profile. So they can see, I've got a wife and kids. So, I'm not a sketchy character. You can usually tell. Yeah. Or at least that's what I tell everybody. All right, everyone. Well, thank you for joining us. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, do all the things on all the places. You can check us out on justbecausegaming.com or follow us on any of our social medias. They're in the description. And also, don't forget, we're going to be, giving away a deck of Pirates Gold poker cards to one of our subscribers. And we'll just be doing stuff like that going forward. Just giveaways of random, game related stuff. We'll probably do some gift cards and other stuff like that, but we'll be trying to do that more often to show our appreciation and our thanks for, our subscribers, because we really do appreciate it. It means a lot to us.
All right. Thanks for watching. Join us again.
All right. Peace.
Later.